On today's episode, dog groomer and trainer Nicole Boyd.
Hi, I'm Nicole Boyd. I work at St. Joseph's School and I also groom dogs. I do a little bit of dog training, but primarily I am a dog groomer. In my job, what I do is I take dogs in for people that I meet, and dogs that need a haircut or they need a spring tune-up, they need their nails done or their ears cleaned or a full-blown haircut. A lot of times the dogs that come in are blowing their coats and the people can't handle all the fur in the home, so I have special equipment that will just blast the coats right out, and they get a bath. I house the dogs while they're here. They're in safe crates, and then I contact the people for them to pick up when it's time to go home. What I love about my job is the space that I've created that I can work from home. I make my own hours, I take all my own appointments, I'm able to be home for my kids, my family. It gives me a lot of time freedom. I like being in here if I have a really kind of a crazy day at work at school in the morning. I have the choice if it's going to be calm and quiet or if I want some music on. I make my own choices in this room, and the clients that I have I'm very grateful for. They are always willing to move times, be accommodating. I have people that are able to drop off if I can't make it here in time. They know my space, and I can appreciate those kind of relationships. So 3 skills that I find really important in this kind of a job is patience. You need to have patience with the dogs, you need to have patience with your clients. Sometimes what somebody wants isn't necessarily what is the best option, so you try and suggest maybe some different ideas that would benefit the dog as far as maintenance and coat condition and functionality. Listening is a very important skill. I need to, Merlot, hey, come on. Because when your dog doesn't listen. There. Listening is a really important skill. Sometimes you have clients that maybe come in and they have one envision of what their dog should look like because they saw a picture on TV or the internet, and in reality it's probably not the best idea or the best choice, just because it's very hard to maintain, and a lot of people don't realize that. Kind of like when you go to the hairdresser and you have an envision that you want to look one way, but your hair doesn't work that way. Sometimes you have to take those things into consideration. And listening to the dogs, I have a lot of older dogs that come in, and it's hard for them to move their hips or it's hard for them to move their shoulders. So listening to what they're telling me on the table is also another thing. If they're uncomfortable, if they're scared, a lot of dogs come in, they don't love the hairdresser, rightfully so. So listening to what they're telling me, I'm kind of working with that. And if they do love it and they come in here and they have a good time, then we both have a good time. My other skill is being creative. I think in this kind of industry, you always have to look ahead of how things are changing. Coats are changing, breeds have changed a lot, and kind of furthering your knowledge and your education. Don't be afraid to try things. But I do always talk to somebody, the person first, before I would try something new, because they might go, absolutely not, or they might be just as courageous and go, yeah, let's do it. It's hair, it grows back, it's okay. But being a little bit creative is kind of fun. Those same 3 skills I also use at my job when I work at St. Joe's. Lots of patience, lots of listening, and being creative. I do a lot of duties with kindergarten kids, and there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of curiosity, and sometimes all that child wants is to be heard and for somebody to have a conversation with them, and that's absolutely okay. Being creative, our playground, sometimes the kids get bored with what's out there, so you have to bring out some new ideas, play some new games, teach them new things. I also roll that skill over into the school. And again, listening. Patience and listening is a huge factor when you're working in any school with any grade of a child. So both of those, or all three of those three skills really play into what I do in my room here for grooming and for my classes. So I primarily work alone in my grooming shop. But at times I will call my mother. My mother was a groomer for 35 years and has retired, and this is a business I took over from her. So anytime that I need an extra set of hands or just basically a rescue, if I've got 8 dogs in here, my mom will come and she'll help me at any time. And my family supports me really well. My youngest daughter will come in here and she will clean and wash. She'll blow out dogs, she'll bath dogs. And it kind of reminds me of when I was her age. I did the same thing for my mom. So it's kind of cool that it works out, you know, that at the end of the day after school, she comes in here and she's working for me, just like I worked for my mom. Sometimes I work with clients when they bring dogs in, and maybe they're just having an issue with some behaviors at home or out in public. So I'll take some time and I'll spend it with them and maybe showing them some techniques that work for me and different ways to problem solve so the dog doesn't feel frustrated and they don't feel frustrated. So in this job, there is a lot of equipment required. Some people don't see it. They think my dog just goes for a haircut and they come home magically in a new look. But this does require a lot of equipment. This is a grooming table, so it's grippy here so the dogs don't slip and slide. This is a noose, so all the dogs stand in a noose. This is a grooming arm, so that when my dogs are up here, I have control of their head and I have control of their rear, like this. If I had a dog come in for nails, I have all different kinds of nail clippers, and I would just start cutting their nails, nice and easy peasy, do the job. I have ear cleaning equipment. I have an array of sprays. This is a powder that you would put in a dog's ear that has hair growing out to pluck the hair out, otherwise the hair gets impacted. I have blowers. So this is a smaller blower, and what this does is it blows the coats out. I have clippers, and I have about probably 30 or 40 different blades. So people sometimes are like, well, what blade are you using? When you buy a kit, just like at Walmart or something, you get one blade and an extension, and I have to purchase all different blades, all different sizes, because I go through so many dogs. And then this is my big blower. I'll turn it on. And it literally So that takes all the dead undercoat out, and it actually takes a lot of dander and dirt out of dogs that come in. I do a lot of Huskies, a lot of breeds, kind of like this German Shepherd, that are double coated, and it just blows it out. It works a lot nicer than just brushing. It does get very hairy in here though. The whole room will be covered with hair, and sometimes I'll open my window and hair will go flying out. Behind you, I have crates. I have a multitude of crates for different sizes of dogs. I make sure everything is safe. Dogs like to maybe try and break out of crates, so it's pretty important that they're strong and safe. I have a bathtub over here. It's a raised tub, and I have different kinds of shampoos for different coats and conditioners. I have another blow dryer as well that will go into sit up against the crate, and it'll blow on the dog there. I kind of keep 2 or 3 of everything in case something breaks, so there's quite a substantial investment when you're doing something like this. Equipment does break, equipment does fail, and because of where we live, it's not as easy to replace all the time, so it's good to have extra.